Junk volume is simply the amount of sets and reps that are not stimulating muscle growth. But what is stimulating muscle growth? That is what we are going to go over today. So you are never going to waste a single rep in your life. Training volume is the amount of work performed in the gym. So that's going to be your reps and sets. And to stimulate muscle growth, you need to push your sets close to failure. And there are a few ways to turn this volume into junk. And the first one is doing too many. How many is too many? Let's take a look at a shoulder press. You know I like doing everything above 5 reps, so you get at least 5 effective reps. If you are doing it in anything in between 5 to 9 rep ranges and you get 9 reps for the first set, that was a very intense, very hard set. So you push it all the way to failure and then you rest. You do the second set, you get around 7 reps. Again, that was a really hard set. You left around 0 to 1 in the tank. And then you repeat it for a third set. So that was 3 stimulating sets. But the question is, how many of these stimulating sets you can do within a session? And according to the literature, it is capping around 6 sets. But if we only look at the average, that is going to be around 3 to 6 sets per muscle group per day. So it is just one training day. So for example, within a training session, if you want to train your delts, you can do a shoulder press, and that is going to train the anterior and the lateral head around the mid position. And if you do 3 sets, after that you can go do some lateral raises on the cable in the lengthened position. And if you do 2 to 3 sets of that, then you are done with delts. But you can also do 5 sets of shoulder presses as well. And this is how it looks like within a training session. But the question usually is, how many sets you need per week to stimulate muscle growth? And according to literature, it is around 10 to 20 sets. But it is only that because they were using shorter rest period. And you already know that doing shorter rest doesn't allow for enough recovery in between sets to get enough effective reps in. So of course they needed to do that many sets. But if you are hovering around 10 to 15 sets per week per muscle group, we are good. It's also worth mentioning that not all muscles are created equally. Some can tolerate more, while others can less. Not to mention, this is still based on individual, so you will have to experiment what you can tolerate for different muscle groups. Another way to create junk volume is by doing exercises that don't target the muscle well, or exercises that are targeting the same muscle at the same exact position. So for example, if you are training your chest and you are doing a Sven press for 3 to 4 sets, you can't tell that if it's your chest failing the exercise because of this intense burn, and you already know that being further away from failure will result in less effective reps, and that is only going to increase the amount of junk reps or volume, but will do nothing for you. Another way to create redundancy, if you are doing different exercises for the same muscle at the same exact position. So for example, if you are doing a barbell bench press followed by a dumbbell bench press and then a push-up, even if you program it intelligently and only doing 2 sets each just to get these overall 6 sets, it is still going to train the same muscle at the same exact position, and that is going to be the lengthened one when your arm is around 90 degrees at your body. With this, all you are doing is creating redundancy. And let's be honest, you can only do this many exercises for the same muscle if you are never pushing it close to failure, and that is just creating junk volume. And there is usually a question, what if you have an exercise like a chin-up and the biceps is the secondary mover in that? Do you need an additional direct work for your biceps, or is it going to be enough if you are just doing 3 sets of that? And you already know that, but the answer is going to be, it depends. For someone who is a beginner, their biceps is going to grow. And if you are not advanced, you are still going to get some stimulus. But if you look at yourself and say, okay, my biceps is not good enough, what do you need to do? You have to add an additional direct work for your biceps, because it is just a secondary mover. It is not supposed to fail the exercise. It is just there to assist. Another way to create junk volume is by doing high repetition sets. And I'm not talking about the one where you are doing 20 plus reps, but you are really close to failure, and that is why you had to stop the exercise. Talking about the one where you are doing 30 plus reps and you have no idea how far or close you are to failure, but you still have to stop the exercise because of this burning discomfort. Not to mention, these 30 plus reps, they did nothing for you. They didn't stimulate muscle growth, so you can pretty much consider them as junk volume. But in return, they still created fatigue what you have to recover from. So as you can see, the only way to grow your muscles is by doing effective reps. And those are the ones that are challenging, and that's usually the last 5 reps what you don't want to do. And everything outside of that, you can consider them as junk volume because they are not doing anything for you. Watch these 2 videos next, like, subscribe, hit the bell. For coaching, hit the link in the description. Talk to you soon.